Good morning. Welcome to one and all to our Unitarian Universalist religion. My name is Marlena Rice. I'm a 43-year member, cough drop, of this congregation, and today I am your service associate. And yesterday, along with many other people, I was a gardener outside. So there are lots of places and things to do in this church. Hey, thank you, Linda Joy. Thank you, Linda Joy, for organizing it. Wow, it was great. Our minister, Reverend Michelle, is preaching today at her home congregation in Jamestown. Today, we are privileged to hear our multi-talented Director of Faith Development, Katie Cosgrove. Yes, ma'am. In addition to being our amazing Director of Faith Development, Katie is a grief specialist, death doula, and best-selling author of a children's book about loss. As you can see, the UU House Band is adding a bit of pizzazz to the service. We're happy to have James Runfola, sorry, at the piano. Welcome, James, back again, yay. And Amy Malkowski is on hand to help song leading. You don't want me. Amy. For those gathered in the chapel, I urge you to actually turn off your phone completely to free up bandwidth for our live stream. Our Wi-Fi is kind of wobbly, and we want our online community to have the full experience as possible. If you need a little extra support, with assisted hearing devices, they're at the usher statement. Feel free to get up at any time and get them if you need them. Our gathering music today can be found. Oh, Amy, you're up. You get to announce it even.
Our gathering music today can be found in the gray hymnal, 388, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We will sing it twice, first for practice and second to the people on Main Street. Please rise in body or spirit as we join our voices. You may be seated.
Lori and Pam Burns will do our water and chalice lighting. Please come forward. We move from a time of welcoming into centering as we employ the elements of water and fire to create the sacred space where we can be fully present. We begin with an acknowledgement that our church is built on holy ground, land that was nurtured and cultivated by those who occupied it before us. We offer this libation as our giveaway as we honor the struggle of all people seeking justice and peace. We seek the courage and wisdom to heal the wounds of the past and build a better future story together with all our neighbors and fellow creatures. It is our custom when we gather to light a chalice. The chalice is a cup or vessel that symbolizes the gathered community and is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Please join me in our lighting of the chalice. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Good morning. In college, my friend introduced me to a philosopher named Alan Watts. I was instantly hooked, and his teachings have continued to inspire me more than a decade later. I'd like to share a quote with you that I've always found very meaningful. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab a hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. This morning, I invite you to bring that kind of trust into this space, not the kind that tries to fix or control us, but the kind that lets you relax, breathe, and trust what's already moving through you. Let this hour be a place where you don't have to hold it all together. Let it be enough to simply be here.
Each week, we bring our whole selves into this time made sacred by your presence, by our presence together. We bring our joys, concerns, and sorrows, trusting that this community will hold them with us. As the music plays, I invite you to come forward and place a stone or shell on the table labyrinth here to my right, in recognition of all that you bring and all that you are. Come forward as you will. And now I will place the final stone in recognition of the joys, concerns, and sorrows of those who are participating online. You are embraced by this community. Let us now share a few breaths as we expand our circle to include those who may not be present, but whom we carry in our hearts. We bring into our circle of love and care those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who are overwhelmed and feeling hopeless, those who feel lost, those who have been wronged. May we find the strength and peace and the courage to carry on. Amen, and blessed be.
Our song in response can be found in the Teal Hymnal 1038. Ooh, no, that is wrong. Oh, here we are. Our musical meditation will be found in the Teal Hymnal 1007. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing. Count us in, Ron. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul.
It's time. Where are all my friends? I see you looking at me. Come on up front. Come on, Quinn. I'm not scary. Still Miss Katie. Perfect, right there. Oh, you found Bat Cat. Nice. Uh-oh, something's going on in here today. Hi, Sam. Come on. All right, how you doing, buddy? You can have a seat. You're gonna help me open the box. Cool dinosaur shoes. No one can see them, but they're really cool. All right, so you wanna help me open it? You want to? All right, and then we'll give Evie a turn. Oh, so strong. What the heck is in here? There's a card in here. Hold on, you want to hold the card for a second? Can I see it? Thanks. Evie, can you tell me what kind of animal that is? It's hard to see. You think it's a frog?
Yes.
It's a frog? So it's kind of small, but it's a little card, and it's got a frog with a mushroom hat on the top of it. And it says, I thank my body parts. Example, I am thankful for my hands and for all the ways they helped me. That kind of feels nice, right? Do you want to start thanking other body parts? Yeah? Damien's got it under control up here. All right, let's start with our toes. Can everybody wiggle their toes in their shoes? And then let's say, thank you, toes. Thank you, toes. All right, now let's stomp our feet. Let's say, thank you, feet, for always carrying me. Thank you, feet, for always carrying me. Let's wiggle our knees. I know, it's hard to do when you're sitting down. Let's say, thank you, knees, for letting me be flexible. Thank you, knees, for letting me be flexible. Now let's move our hips in a big circle. You can kind of move your torso if you're sitting. There you go, Kate. So I'm going to say, we'll respond, thank you, hips, in a second, but I'm going to say, thank you, hips, for letting me face forward to the future. And we say, thank you, hips. Thank you, hips. All right, let's rub our tummies. And let's thank our tummies for always telling us when something doesn't feel right. Thank you, tummy. Let's put our hands over our heart. Thank you, heart, for making space for all of the things and people in the world that I love. Thank you, heart. Let's test our throats. Thank you, throat, for letting me have a voice for myself and my community. Thank you, throat. And let's put our heads in a big circle. Thank you, head, for always keeping me head on straight, knowing what to do next. Thank you, head. And to end, let's have all my adults in the pews, you're also welcome, but let's have all my little friends stand up nice and tall. All right, and we're gonna stretch out our arms. That feels good, right? It's important to thank our bodies sometimes because they do a lot of work for us. Always working pretty hard. So, Quinn, since you're up front, would you like to take Mr. Frog to faith development with Miss Molly? No. Maybe you two could share the card. All right, why don't we follow in gratitude to Miss Molly and we can sing the children out as they go to faith development. Thanks for playing along. Before we settle into my reflection this morning, I want to invite you to a quieter, maybe less stretchy moment of meditation. Today, we are going to be talking about temples. Now, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. And imagine if you were to build yourself a temple. If you can picture it, what does it look like? Is it made out of wood, stone, or something else? Are there bright colors, or is it more calm and neutral? What kind of entrance does it have? Is there a water feature? What's the landscape surrounding it? Maybe mountains, forest, fields, sand. Is there maybe a child crying in the background of your temple? Imagine walking inside. Doors open, light coming in, space where you and your whole self are gently held inside. How does your body feel in this sacred space that belongs to only you? Let that image hold you for just a moment. Whether you're sitting here in front of me or listening online, let that image and feel of the temple take shape for you. Let's listen to a little bit of instrumental music for a few seconds while you create that in your mind. James, could you play something? Thanks. I don't know about you, but if I'm trying to picture something, think, listen, maybe absorb the baby crying sound, my brain just stops. So thank you for taking that moment with me. We often hear the phrase, "My body is a temple," as a call to keep it pure and untouched. But what kind of temple are we talking about? A locked fortress? A temple where onlookers might just not believe in the tradition, but stop to admire the art and beauty? And if our bodies are temples, does that mean that they're meant to be admired, protected, or lived in? Because you would not believe how many people have looked at my tattoos, which if you can't see are all over my body, and said, "Oh, well, my body is a temple, so I don't get any." Which is funny to me, because so is mine. And in my temple, we paint the walls. We add our stories. We ink our so-called prayers into our skin. And we make space for the things that we care about, sometimes permanently. Real temples, I found, are not perfect. They're layered, sometimes messy, and they're often places where people go to escape. They go to bring life in. So maybe our job isn't to keep the temple pristine. Maybe our job is to open it up. Temples, in ancient sense, are usually religious buildings. Across many traditions, they are not just sacred, they are relational. In Hinduism, temples are vibrant and public, full of sound and offerings of art. In Buddhism, they are places of both deep silence and collective practice. In Judaism, the synagogue or temple is not only a place of worship, but of remembrance, questioning, and study. People bring their full selves there: grief, celebration, confusion, community, and the space holds it all. I'm not talking about temples within a religious context, or I am talking about temples within a religious context here, but as we move into this general understanding of a temple, we can start by seeing that in these examples, what makes them sacred isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the willingness to let life enter into the space. What if we could do that with our lives? I got one of my tattoos during a trip to London on what ended up being one of the most frustrating, humbling, and weirdly sacred days of my life. I was visiting my best friend who was in grad school there, and I decided on a whim one morning, late morning, to take a solo train ride across the country to see the White Cliffs of Dover, as you can see here. You know that song, The White Cliffs of Dover? Yeah, I see some nods. It was one of my dad's favorites, so much so that we actually played it at his funeral. I still haven't listened to it since that day. So it felt meaningful for me to take the trip, almost like a pilgrimage. I woke up on the second to last day, I looked it up, I booked a round-trip ticket to go see him, and I jumped on the train. I thought I would figure out the rest later. I took the hour-and-a-half train ride, got off in a town I'd never been to, navigated using a printed map that I'd scribbled on, walked up to a tourist office just to read a handwritten sign that was taped to the door that said, "No boat rides to the cliffs today." Fog, choppy water, closed. I was disappointed, but I picked up my hopes and I decided I would find a coffee shop and regroup. Maybe I could walk to the cliffs. I walked around the corner and saw an open cafe, but as I opened the door, I reached in my purse to find my wallet, which was a common habit for me, but it wasn't there. I kept fumbling, sure that was hiding somewhere around the various items I probably didn't need to have in my purse that day. Nothing. Panic started to set in a little bit, but I knew I'd figure it out. I always did. I didn't have a data plan for my cell phone, so I didn't have service, and I couldn't get a hold of my friend back in London. But I wasn't worried at that point, because as I said, I had always figured it out. So I turned around, made my way back to the bus station using that printed map that is now crumbled in my hands. I explained very calmly to the clerk what had happened, and they just shrugged. "Sorry, miss, we can't do anything. You need a ticket to get back to London." Okay, well now I just need some Wi-Fi so that I can get some cell service, contact my friend back in London, and have her get me a ticket. Easy. Except that that cafe that I'd walked back to was closed. And they were the only place in town with public Wi-Fi. For the first time in all of my travels, across continents, alone, with strangers I had just met, not speaking the language most often, I felt stuck. Like, really stuck. I sat on a bench for an hour, completely unsure of what to do next. Eventually, a kind stranger saw me sitting there. Maybe I was bawling my eyes out. And they offered that I could use their phone to contact my friend back in London. I called her, barely able to say words, and she booked an online ticket for me to get back. I was able to give the phone to the clerk who got the number. This was before you could just have an app on your phone and scan a QR code or a barcode and get on the train. They read the order number and they said, "Okay, you can go." But at that point, I was completely defeated. On this trip to England, I happened to be reading this book, The Wisdom of Insecurity by Alan Watts. That's the philosopher I mentioned earlier. On that train ride, I was fighting back tears so hard that I probably just read that same page maybe 13 times. I was pretending I was reading so that onlookers wouldn't think that I was secretly crying, but I was really holding back tears as much as I could and feeling like I had completely failed that day. Even though not a single other word soaked in from that page, I remember seeing this quote that he used by St. Augustine, saying, "Love and do what you will." I didn't pay attention to it at the time. I just wanted to get back to the city. After what felt like a 10-hour train ride, we arrived at the station downtown, and as I got off the train, the first face I saw was my best friend, who was standing there with a Dr. Pepper, a block of cheese, which is my favorite thing in the whole world, and a bag of chips. I burst into tears, couldn't hold them back any longer, and fell into a much-needed hug. The next day, I reread that chapter that I attempted to read on the train, and I really saw that St. Augustine quote, "Love and do what you will." I couldn't explain it at the moment, but it struck me. I looked up a tattoo shop within walking distance that had good reviews, key, grabbed my friend, and headed straight there. I now have this quote tattooed on the side of my knee. None of these moments were planned. It wasn't poetic at the time at all. But that's when I began to understand what it means to stop controlling the world around me and still be held in it. That's when I started to see my body and my life as a temple that lets everything in that life may bring just pass on through. In that book, Alan Watts talks a lot about illusion, particularly the illusion of separation. We often think about our discomfort that it comes from the outside. Other people, the news, grief, injustice, politics, physical pain even. But what if what bothers us out there is really something that we're avoiding in here? The more we resist something, the more it clings to us. What we push away doesn't disappear, it just waits for us. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me, which is what I kept asking on that bench that day, maybe I should ask, what is this trying to show me? Grief, anger, discomfort, these aren't enemies that are at the gates of our temple. They're pilgrims trying to come in and float through it. When we open our temples to discomfort, something beautiful happens. We create. Creativity isn't just a painting or a writing. It's how we adapt in the world, how we process, how we respond to life. And our ancestors used creativity to survive, to resist, to love, to build. Every single recipe, ritual, story, song, lesson, those are all creativity. In UU language, we have JETPIG values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity. Each one is an act of creative living. Each one asks us to take what is and go out into the world and make something better. So maybe you are a temple. Not a sealed monument or a fortress, even though sometimes we would like to be. We might not be a perfect structure, but instead we are a living, breathing space that holds contradiction, that changes with the seasons and allows life to move through it. Just like, I know it's kind of small, but can everyone see the water that's flowing through the temple? Alan Watts said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are an ocean in a drop." That means everything that's moving outside of you and orbiting around you in the world is already inside of you. And that everything you need is already part of who you are. What would change if you stopped treating anxiety, anger, pain, or grief as something you're battling, something that's outside of you? What if they weren't intruders? What if we let them come in? What if they sat for a while? May we surrender to the creative force moving through all of us. May we stop resisting the pain that's here to show us something. May we let go, not to fall, but to flow. Take a breath. Imagine yourself as a temple, doors open, light coming in, space held gently inside.
In a moment of deja vu, our song and response can be found in the teal hymnal at 10:38, Building a New Way. Please rise and body. It says 10:38 here. That one's not my fault. 10:17. The words are up there, it doesn't matter. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. You may be seated.
A hand for the band. And for Amy, and for Amy. Making time for an offering of gifts and pledges is an act of faith. Our generosity connects us to one another and in the relationship of interdependence and mutuality. Because we know that we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig. This is as it should be, as long as we dig and plant for those who come after us. The offering will now be gratefully received. Music? Music? Thank you all for your generous gifts. We began our service with the lighting of our chalice, and now we extinguish the chalice, not to quench the flame, but to return it to individual hearts, strengthened by this time spent together, so that we can share our light with the world. Please join our voices, please join your voices with mine as we say, "We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again." As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. You'll find many opportunities for growth and service in your order of service and on our website. All are invited to stay after for coffee and conversation in the Emerson room, through the doors, or out in the lobby. Parents, don't forget to retrieve your children from Faith Development. I love seeing all the kids. I have to tell you, when the baby was crying, it was like, my future. Thank you for bringing your children here. And for those who eventually have kids, we want them to come here too. There's a family-friendly zone in the back of the Emerson room. Registration is now open for Summer Institute. Imagine a week away, all your food cooked for you, thrilling worship, and an amazing UU-themed speaker. Morning workshops to feed your soul as well as your brain. Intergenerational fun, music, drumming, sharing, relaxing, and so much more. If this sounds good to you, circle July 6th through the 12th on your calendar and see Reverend Michelle, Kim Diana, or Linda Joy to learn more about this wonderful experience. On the 28th, there will be a Question Box Sunday. Be thinking about what questions you might want to ask Reverend Michelle about living as a UU. You can put these suggestions in a box in the lobby now and through the 25th. And now please rise in body or spirit as we sing "Amy Will Need You," our closing blessings. Don't forget to twinkle your eyes and share your smiles with one another. During the third verse, remain standing afterwards for the benediction.
Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. May the road rise up to greet you as you leave.
As you leave this, can we hear me? Yeah, okay. I'm a very quiet person, so I'm always wondering about that. I'm also very short, so I'm gonna stand one stair up. As you leave the sanctuary today, you'll see a basket of cards at each set of doors. This set of doors that go directly into the Amherst room, the basket's kind of low on that ledge behind the rocking chair. Each card holds a word, a message, or an image to carry with you today. I invite you to take a card. Don't overthink it. Just take a half a second and pick whatever one looks good to you. There's multiple kinds in there. Let it choose you. This is one of my spiritual practices, something that helps me create and build and change my own temple. Later today, when you have a quiet moment, I invite you to look at the card and reflect on what it means in your temple. Is it written on the walls like mine are? Is it something that a color represents or a landscape represents? Reflect on what it means to bring that into your space. And may your temple hold everything: joy, grief, panic, surrender. And maybe like mine, it even has ink on the walls. Go in peace.